Binako, Sinibolam. Brought a Mickey Sack, one magic of rice, Saki. In just social media, yes, and one while Owuti near. Uma mio Utine, one made the Maure, and what Bravo to begin and you equayana say me good. Jacobe, me money Kalabari Namanga, Bramania, Jacobe and Ben Maure. Uma treme wa I me equamen can mend Busuma. Iakasmi wane, Embra, Damaris.
And I was in your lamb.
Then me equame, can one equine Busuma wane, Alabo,
Owukoriye, Sibiya,
Warmate. Allow you will let it.
Omelante, Asimbi, Conomasim.
One may say, while we're sending Robin big number of you and is simmering, big number of Simba.
Big Namania and Cop Obukwe, Tewa and the Greek declare, but I'm not the Wabu and Amalate.
You do get back.
Come over there.
But the study from our bravo, near Make, near Busumama. And one magic a breast, I can get social media, yes, and wa na wa piki ere that Owubo near the mountain. And what bravo to begin and build Equine and near committed to make my name jump then new woman, they come by Namanga, Owuba, Kevetin Gabane, Kinesekapo, in your neck by Namabu, oh, yes, since he make him way. In your neck became Bobo Boma, yeah, Nili Kuma Mew Woman, and in the mountain, and get the mountain, begin and sing leg walk dance, and in your woman. Kevetin grab a new woman, Kalabari. Okay, yes, pa me and make a magic trouble. Treme, Arambio, Siete Kibula, you are old woman, yeah, Lily.
Go for you,
Minako, Omiet, Homan Nas me, one Alabo, old woman, Yerite. Kuma Trema, Ribola, new woman, and a retzi.
I yes, so before I'm going to go latte or Bomebo. And for now, my remain in Pakambua. So, Yeribe, I need a baby that I remain anywhere. One me, oh, and Kolabo, I need me Steve Pakamboy. So, I need a Langa. But for now, I go to Tewa, Puma, also Manimia, Umere, which is the first thing we have to find out because what remaining here, one Libya and a ball. So for now, Ereme Yeribe Manimia.
One brain, Lama, Boko, one put a pan there. You are making a social media platform.
Yes.
May to be a more rather.
Yes.
I
Eric, go for you. Let us have a look.
Minapo, one name, one name, Alabo, Alhaji, Mujahid, Asari Tobo. Oribem, this is abuse on Holo culture, on our Holo culture. I know if you are the me, and some Kalabari, Amanga, Brahman, Digi, Delmalama. Someone I'm young man, Digi, Delmalama, Nemo, Ugari, Yaki, Mary Bravo, and a new Belema.
Okay.
You are Jimmy.
Okay.
Yeah, so we also carry, or them during every masquerade display. There is a sign out displayed by each of them. They usually display their own unique styles during that period. I think this one is one of such. It doesn't disrupt the main dance presentation. The masquerades have evolved. Our dance steps are borrowed along with the masquerade when it is being adopted and domesticated into our culture. Ego was adopted from the Efi country, so as others. As society evolves, it leaves little footprints in our culture, and that is how our culture itself evolves. No culture is absolutely static. However, these minor adoptions don't affect major changes. The dance didn't change, the beat, it only aligned itself with the status quo to add extra spice or fun to the cultural display. Make we no overthink them. And any picture that no fee, no concern, it no change anything rather.
Okay, you want me to be in your
and go related year when I embrace so we also carry a point with the land. You understand? The Yemes Nibra, Uma, Jasakubamu Olobwe from different places. You understand? The West Africa Mes Nibra, the whole of a particular segment, one and Owumba, have similarities. For example, you will be very surprised that Owume that they play in maybe Mali has a similarity with the one that maybe Nyangawa Tiwaye. A good example is a masquerade from the Dogon tribe. And in Abilina Oguna, me Ajofiana, very similar. In Iba, in Sibi, Kiri Bakwe. That is the key Ogumebio. But they will have different variations. So with one Andrebe Soyibiba boy, I actually agree on some points with him in the sense of culture is not static. Culture may move jangamue. After all, Jasake wamu jangamu oume oloboteke wana buswambe. We have certain uniqueness of one ma. For example, me Tingolongolo. In Tingolongolo timbe ifokobo. It is not exactly the same as one in Buguma. Ke in Tingolongolo me tiwaibra. There are few similarities and differences. You understand it? Now, the key in this particular event, the official line, official line of Kalabari, because Kalabari, man, we are a unique people that have come together to move our agenda as Kalabari forward. And so, therefore, we have to stick to the straight path. So, yes, one in Abiri now, in Bokona, now, Ikwerena, Puna, other Ijo communities now, we have coexisted for a very long time. But for one to be able to tread forward as our part as Kalabari, it is good that we are strict on certain things.
Yes. Kalabari, but in there, and get all time breaking is the help mamma, shall we say? No,
there are different grades of O. Moko Ikineseki, Sekiapuma, they are the central organization and the custodians of culture. Apart from that, one of their duties is in maritime and in Ilimsaki in Akonama. But Moko, you know, many wana brame, so brame. So most of the people that Oyana Wapu, Imujagamu Ome Okote, but Iku Brake and Ome Prebrago in K Ikilebu so swaba, so that Inima in Antiebe, in get just here. But there's nothing stopping them that Polo can have their own unique special just that Inima and it display. You understand? There are a lot of people that in Sekapubi Ofori, but in Ibekumawuti, Amanabio. You understand it? Polo, Owuti, Lasaki, they know those persons. In Aukuba, no Meti one pray. You understand it? But Ekineme is just a central organization. So official line is yes, Bome Kalabari Naboa. But on the other hand, because Moku, me Babrame, and Wako Yanare, Mabiri, Marathon, but everything, life may be all balance. So on one side, yes, we have to stick to the culture, but on the other side, we have to be open-minded enough to evolve the culture forward. And in this case, Bomena, Aquamena, Mulamore. For that reason, why you need a baby or Aquamena, which is the main key.
One Alabo, if the more, why would you bravo? Me, Owuti Bome, Kunumakame, Prisram, Aquaman, Prisram, and Kalabari, and they took Macan and began more care.
Prisram is Mibra, Mabome or Gorbo, and one market Sram and Mibra. So yes, in my boy and our red, but however you do each of the ball, it doesn't matter. Ibrime or Bere. So two becomes one. You understand it? Meaning that bomb display me so can take its own course, but so far as it follows the pattern of the drum, because drum beat me and they bala the voices of ancestors, man, and they bala, you know, equipment, and they Kalabari equipment, but I mean, Jema. You know, and they Aquaman. So Ibrahim, so far as it tallies with Aquaman, to me, I don't see much of a huge problem, except if we go out of our way to now start bringing useless dances like beginner dance or Bala Shoki,
and if you need to meet it, you need Amanganga Brahmabu Pikeba in that way in
not necessarily, because it depends on how one a man Boku Amanganga Brahme, a woman in change here, in a mindset change here. So one a man, Bala mobile phones, Mibra, and Titan Wako Techno Yanare, Wa Blackberry Yanare, Mokuaba Yana, Mokuba touch phone Yanare. Later, very soon, Tesla saw Yanare. So things have to upgrade. So for us to be able to pull them into our fold, we have to offer them something that they feel that in Imaso, related value Adiba and Ibio. So when they now see that, okay, this idea that I had before, maybe I can sample it. Maybe that is what has just happened here. Our Mema have spoken that begin. Let us see what we can do to upgrade and maybe sample one or two things. But one as elders, our duty is not to condemn. Our duty is now to pull them in and see how we can align with them and that is how it should be. Yes. I agree. Accepted. Accepted. Accepted that in Kalabari now Amangangabra. But you see, we have to be very careful because one of the problems is that so many different histories and cultures being told from this angle, that angle, to the point that we are now in stagnation. What for how many years now? Why? Because your local is correct. Your local. So yes, I fully accept that Amanganga and all J Amawebo, but Akwame Orana Tibrame. So as much as we are condemning, Bala as elders, as we condemn Wakala Rome, Wami Brake in a phone there, Waosi Brake in Anubo Baya, it all in Banubo. Yele Yebe, you may be out what we can ye. In my medical Baya, but that you only can ye, but by the last Saki, why one and both side, but just mere space to what I pretend you understand. So we should allow that. What I call a dialogue of generations. You understand? There are different generations and we all have to come together, So I take everything on board, both on the plus, both on the side, and then my stance. You understand? Yes.
The main custodians of our Kalabari Masquerade or cultural dance steps are the Kalabari Ekinisekapo. Hence, the Ekinisekapo are still maintaining the old peculiar traditional dance steps or masquerade steps. Definitely, the traditional dance and masquerade steps are not fizzling out. Okay, why are they? Yes. To map out the book in the second one, you can set up Mabe and a trouble chromate and second one and to Madi, animal fear, more new in the country. Tare I will have them say, Saxon, you walk on, you collect like a shot. I want good of the name, oh, man, one just a Jankaban of Kibbe. And that's why you soon be more one in brave, or I was with a can't. Is to keep the decorum of the culture because you see there has to be a benchmark. Bala gatekeepers of the culture. You understand that? Animoko Ekine Sekapoma, one man were the gatekeepers of Kalabari culture, man. So definitely one man wanna Ojubemi. You understand it? One where yes, just like Waki Japuso Diba and recently Wakumu Pakana Mutemu and Aga in Ekine Sekapu Wari Fiji. You understand it? There is no way that one Imba will do things exactly the same. The truth is, in Okoke and Erimo, in Okoke and area, man, you see, the way it is, what we're speaking about is spirits and spiritual talk here. When we talk of spirit, one of the most important things I would like to collaborate Toluma is that spirit is like a child. It's a very, very light spirit. You understand it? In fact, one of the things I talked about before coming here, which is important to pass across, is this. Bible, when and get that the keys to the kingdom of heaven is with the children. And it means all that to you to be highly spiritual, you have to be like your childlike self. Because our mama, in a studying there, they are so innocent, so beautiful, so bold. They dream, they can imagine, they can, bring their own reality from inside their head to come to pass. You understand? That is how it is. So, although there is the need for gatekeeper, but there should also be that little space to explore. Because nobody can move forward without exploration.
Okay, Mamoko, Labra, Moko, me boss, second, indeed, and you were able to be like, yes, or it is a mambo. Yes. In Tari, you don't make a woman, moving back, Kino, Pacabo, making a set up Matro Kuma, Tinimabo make in a giver. In Kena,
Not all. It might be in there.
Okay, ni ma bi mbe.
It might be in
Yeah,
there.
we didn't have
You understand?
bravo. It is a cap muscle in Seswa, Thomas.
And then in what sense in these issues?
Second one
market to money.
No, but you see, second bomb in just about anybody. Yeah.
Boy now.
Ja Seki, Ja Bo is sacred and is symbolic in its meaning and what it means and what it's supposed to do. You understand it? So in case everybody there, no, unless everybody join it.
Okay.
Wa bo that way, ibote bo that way. Bala moko yeribe moko abikina abusime brame. Abo member ni nyasake. You understand it? But abombe I need to everything around the gate and awoba. Akwaso jaite na farmer there. Maybe I jaita and I will, but yeribe I make an effort. The point is making an effort. You understand it? Because we have different duties in society. Me board A, Osibo B, and A MS Membra.
One day, Mujahid aside the working up okay, urban generational dynamism comes with innovations that suits the present or contemporary cultural arts. Hence, you know me, or the kingdom can neither stop it. It's a spontaneous thing. What is most important here is the dressing and attires. If the attires and dressings are not changed, it's okay. And the one people remember that me second bomb, and I comment and dress and go and second go and be out.
Not that in Ansekibra going and Ibere, there's a pattern to it. And to obey a woman, the woman digibrame or aquamena menjin or aquamena.
Okay, the dressing attire is most important. And get in a and soon Kalabari.
Yes, it is very important. And the reason why it is very important is because it depicts, because Mokumi or women, from what I noticed, even in the Seki dance. In the Seki dance, it has now become an accepted general Kalabari display. For example, if we have any international or national social function, you will find out that 9 out of 10, in particular, women are never pakambu are. Even in the opening of the market, a Kalabari a fish market, they also brought out Owu that was in this pattern. 4 smaller Owu and probably the Adama, in Diboma in the middle.
Ebe pela brabo moko epanete ine kenku no ba boy mebo one na Alabo asari dokobo peke anju ye ken rane o ke braid guy let's say by destroying your own ani and then ke braid
by destroying your own and bala kalif braid be ke be mo na so
Okay, let me give you an example and I will use the Seki dance. Yibo one Irish dancing, man. Irish dancing, man. How did Irish dancing come about? Yeah, woman, my Rebe, they go to classes, Irish dancing. What we learned is that Irish dancing, man, one day, you could travel when one menibo be menu sake, dimbu, wa bala tea, combra yeba, ibilo for sake, one menibo horseshoe, man, metal shoe, metal horse, swai, okrume, wake wana bo uboloteke, wana bala ibris, bravo. So, in that case, you can see that we evolved from Bala Ibiri, we use Moko horseshoe, Bekina kin menibo, meme eri one abo, in menibo and they adopting into their own cultural dance, now what you know as the Irish folk dance. You understand it? So Moko, unity, the world has to unite. And that unity is going to happen through dance, it's going to happen through music, it's going to happen through arts, it's going to happen through science, through a lot of faces. You understand it? The key and the important thing is for us not to close the gates. As much as you keep the gates and keep a gatekeeper to keep the gates, it's very important for you to also make an opening so that we can see how we can evolve, but not too extreme, which is what one Alabo Asari is saying. Don't go too extreme. Yes.
With utmost respect to you, this issue neither me nor anyone can stop it. It can only be stopped by the Ekine who are the custodians of our tradition and cultural values. If I'm not mistaken, in the ancient Kalabari, the Ekine was the body governing over the people with the Amainabo as the king. If today the Amainabo and the Council of Chiefs says no to these masquerade steps, which people are raising eyebrow and others the Ikinesikapo to put a stop, then it most likely can be stopped. Another very important issue is Amayabo, which today, even in other words, our dukes call themselves Amayabo. What is the Kalabari people doing about it? Well, they can
okay. So it's still the same thing we're talking about. You mean in other words is that Ikinesekapuma and and I can say that from speaking to one or two Ikine members, I can also confirm to you that one or two of the key people that Yeribi and Irabo invented that maybe one as a and what Tabia. You understand it? One okay, which is why I come here to say official line, all that. Yes, and since it is in one hand, if Idima better that and yes me and it's yes me. But the key thing is, and a woman, if it is not in or part of the Ikide Sekiapo, then really and truly, they have a leeway and a little, because one man so Ikine just okay. Why we see be swate one or two things here there. Why but I call Tombele. You understand? Another last one that we did, mid-December, normally we're not supposed to do in December. But when we had a little bit of a rancor argument within ourselves, and in the end, we then decided that okay, because of Amao Wugote, it is allowed that Yewaki Bala, Brabu and Pastor because December people come home. When is the better time to be able to draw in your people? Even more one new members needing the only best time is that December time when all of them are around. Yeah, they will start asking, but you understand it? So Alabo so Siya in the sense of other issues, what have people done about it? Also as so but I know you may just be wrong, but if the official line from the king but saying that we should still be there's one word I like, spontaneous. Spontaneosity, man, is the birth of modernization, or what I mean is, something great. That's how they come about. Yes. Spontaneous, man, spontaneous, man, because we are here on earth, we are only physical. But in some spontaneously, you can do it. And then change you right. Something. Because in Maso in Kawana tier, you understand it? Just like but it's important to keep the decorum. Yes.
I don't think this masquerade is a Kalabari masquerade.
Yes.
If it is, then a new borrowed one.
Yes.
I mean, they won't make
it.
Kalabari society does not have such masquerade. As for the dance, we condemn it. Me, and so
in sweet dog with it. I will go with it. I will go with it. I will go with it. But I will also say that the key, because what we're talking about, a lot of the problem when the Kalabari move is that we're just stuck into a brick wall.
Yeah, can you marry a brother? We were taking spontaneous and tell me what I can equal. Yes, and somebody do bully be a I don't know what I need from our and Bala, Tarek a second,
just like an smell, and I will give you, but I will give you a little example. Bala, one or two masquerades in me, Bala Moko Ibeli base me the importance of keeping to the steps is because it's like a spiritual code, but as sambe, so if you get, I mean, go to just like a and if you go wrong, if you falter, but why little woman sing you, and that is for a reason for you to keep that over. It will be second. And then just a job to get that you know, even second woman mistaken. So I need to go to one and a condemn because if you fall out of line of woman, then it is condemnable. You understand it? But that is in specific masquerades. What I would say, it is in specific masquerades, but I already die. Because there are different levels and categories and grades of masquerade. Jawu and we told to be mad here. Jawu and we told be so bad die. Mio ube ofro yana opiki obuklo yana to symbolize that he's a hermaphrodite. Ane moko and a woman fro troko tongo obuklo and a hermaphrodite, which symbolizes that one a Kalabari, our tradition is one of the most ancient anywhere in this world. And you can take my word for it. When you go deep into it, when you understand it, when you learn it, you dissect it, you understand that, you know, when you even go back to Moko and Bra, when you go back to the general deity mother, Moko, water or whatever it is, you will understand that the whole of our Kalabari concept makes a huge meaning. It really tallies with the way the world is created, the globe, everything, how it is. So, what we're saying, my own last words in it is like this. There are certain laws of nature that is static. For example, the law of gravity, right? And other laws, the sound of, you know, speed of light, all those things. There are statics. You understand it? But within and around those static laws, there are also anomalies and, you know, other phenomena that follow it and goes round with it. You understand it? So it's like a leg code. That is the point of Ibelibe. So when he dances according to certain solar constellationary movements. So in that case, it is important that woman stays. You understand it? Yes. But no woman, because we don't know its hierarchy. It's Bala a woman. Just maybe Yepakamote Kiti, but for entertainment and readiness. Just like you money being bought in the right way, in the right way. Yes, it's important to Okay, and the mama angame is like I said, there is a certain bit which you have to keep. And bome, aquame, that is what makes the whole of Kalabari now Ogume. Bom, aqua, no, but Oribe is specific on this particular dance step, which is foreign to Kalabari. You understand it? Which is foreign. So Oribe as a custodian, you cannot expect him to say yes, because back and cable why one Jen awome te ye understand the apple mu and okiteke mu jen yeba. So far as we allowed it like this, mumba ye ba why can, and then before you know it has gone out of line. So when the man has a kinesekia, we have to stick to our ground to say that although yes, why that Kalabari now, because at least for now, like he said, unless it is something new that has been borrowed. You understand it? But Yeribe, on my own personal and my own personal thoughts about it is that life is balanced. Right and left, Amy. You cannot just take one and keep one. You cannot go anywhere. Life is about graph. Graph means it's up and down. Up and down. If you keep going up, you will see that at one point you might even have a depression. You understand it? Something has to happen to bring you down so that keep you back up. I was supporting, but then my own personal is that my own personal is still stand because there are two sides to a story. You understand it? There has to be one side, but then there has to be the other side. In Mapo, in Abu, that is how you get growth. Without that, you cannot get growth.
Okay, yes. He is a good dancer. Yes. He was creative.
Yes.
The point of such traditional showcases is for the culture in all its form to be displayed. What was that done with the dancing in the short skits? No, I believe not. If one judges this strictly according to the tradition, it's labeled to be wrong. I was scrolling on Instagram, saw something related to my culture. My heart told me to click on it in hopes of seeing the beauty of our dancing language, but I saw something else. If this becomes a norm, that's how our styles gradually fades away. Simple logic. I know the way Moko, or the only types of up and the Obama and me, Yama Tokomuma, and then one will open ceremony and tell or association. I never up and going.
I don't fully agree with that. You know, because yes, because Moko in nightclub you need to second but also the great prayer it's a form of meditation. But Moko one in Kalabari it's specific in the sense of before one in one here they will make one pray but one make one a year. So first of all, what people should be asking women and and Kobrake Kalabana is it just for display and but fun purposes? If it is, then there is a space for that display. In Ambolobombe, and Boyanamo. And if you Boyanambe, then and Ukwapu should be the ones. And Iwangabu should be the ones to really tell us if it is accepted. If it is accepted or not. But what I know generally, globally, is that they evolve, they grow into something else. You understand it? We can still keep our focus on our tradition, but I don't think that we have to be so strict, because strictness is good. Discipline, but our military school, discipline is good. It brings out a good indigene, but we should not be so rigid. Rigidity, for me, is a problem. It will bring the stagnation. It will bring the stagnation. Strictness in stories and stories and stories. Whose story is the best? Whose story is right? Whose story is wrong? Whose story is forward? Whose story is back? And what it is causing is stagnation, because we are refusing to come together as one. When 1 or 2 or 3 or more, 10 or more are gathered, he is in the middle. You understand it? But we have forgotten about that. We want to be individualized things. So when we come together, and when you come together, you can never ever have one side all going this side.
Minapo wabo eskweme bokuno mami latte.
Nyako mansumpi la me.
Yani kokos be mi.
One na me egbe busu no ba ne Alabo
Owukoriye.
Owukoriye Sibiya Warmate. Alabo.
Come up with wala.
Orane bigi ekine seka pumabo obobo. Orise na buwebo. Owete ni brabo wabu dugo ya ni owubo me di mate we point anemu ba me wo wasimete ekwan opiki ni ko te ko on na prete mi owubo me bo ane bo bra kuma ereme onimia Kalabari na manganga mabra me di mabia and we ko anu wa mo we mi se kwa
Na ko se yongo be ni
ine ke ine te ekete